Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. I am Sean Schoenmakers, the owner of Action Coach Dallas, where we are helping business owners build and grow their businesses to ultimately improve their lives. Today, we have special guest, Dr. Natesha Smith, and she's the owner of Arabella Wellness Center. Yep, Arabella Wellness Center. I always forgot the center the last time, but I got it in there this time. So anyway, she's going to tell us a little bit about, obviously, herself, a little bit about the company, a little bit about her journey and some of the different things that are helping them get to where they've gotten so far in their business journey. So we're excited to have you on. How you doing, Dr. Natesha? Dr. Natesha?
I am doing really well. You got it. You got it, Sean.
It's not the best, could be better, but yeah, we'll work through it. So awesome. Well, like I said, glad to have you on. And if in the audience, if this is your first time logging into the channel or first time seeing the channel, make sure you like and subscribe and do all those things to make sure you get the notifications when we drop more of these useful and valuable conversations into the channel. And so, without further ado, Dr. Natesha, can you maybe tell us, give us an introduction to your company and tell us the problems you solve?
Absolutely. So, I am the CEO of Arabella Wellness Center, and we are a digital first wellness center for women in North Texas. And essentially, we provide core services as preventative measures for women so that they can take care of the things that they need to take care of in their lives, mainly themselves. So, we provide, of course, mental health support, we do oral health education, we do restorative yoga, as well as nutritional guidance.
That's a lot of
I did it. I
things.
timed it just right for you, didn't I?
Yeah, just kidding. Nice. And so the problem would be women who are not taking care of themselves. You guys help
So
provide.
women who do not prioritize themselves,
Yeah.
which are a lot of us,
Yep.
we provide a space for them to start to prioritize themselves. Yeah.
Perfect. And so does that mean they physically go to your location? There are other ways to take advantage of it, or how's that?
Yeah, we're actually a digital first wellness center, which means that all of our services are online.
Okay.
So from the comfort of their homes or their cars, we've had people, excuse me, join from their offices as well. But we provide a flexible schedule of services so that women can actually start to prioritize themselves and their wellness needs.
I like it. Sounds good. And so, how and why? How and why, Dr. Natisha? How and why did you start this company?
Uh, so my sister and I co-founded Arabella Wellness Center, and it essentially grew out of needs that we had. So one thing that I didn't mention about our services, we have specific programs for women veterans, women educators, and women healthcare professionals. These are professions that definitely experience high stress, high burnout rates, and oftentimes have women that are wearing like dual hats where they are family caregivers as well as providing care and services to individuals in the community. And so, with our own experiences going through those areas, I myself am an Army veteran. I have worked in healthcare as well as I've been an educator in the higher education sector. And so, being around other women that talk about like the stress of the roles that they do have and the inability for them to access services that are both flexible and that actually see them. Because I cannot tell you how many women have expressed that they have felt gaslit in different appointments that they have with medical providers. And they're more interested in preventative wellness options. And so and kind of comparing like our own experiences in our different professions, we saw that there were many gaps that were there. And so that is the why of it, and the how of it is we both decided to leave our full-time positions and go all in on Arabella.
Uh, and here you are, knocking it out the park. So,
Here I am. Yes.
no big deal. No big deal. Awesome. So you mentioned maybe a couple types of women you maybe help more than others, but if I'm an audience, how do I know if I'm a good fit for your product or your service, your services?
Our services.
Yeah.
So if you're a woman that's interested in wellness, in improving her quality of life, improving your well-being, then you're a good fit for us.
Woman, any age, any location, all the
Any
stuff.
age, any location. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, we do have
Um,
curated programs, but we are here for any women. We are a wellness center that designed by women for women. Yes.
okay, cool. And what if you're a man? No services?
Hmm.
I was just curious. Could I
So
partake? What
for
if I want to do my wife?
No, actually, so like one of the core things about us, because we are a 501c3
Yeah.
nonprofit organization, we are nested in our community. And so what we do is we built community partnerships and we're continuing to build those community partnerships. So if there are services that are needed that we don't provide, we do warm referrals. So if
Yeah.
you are a man that is in need of wellness support, we can connect you with the right resource.
I was curious if I wanted to participate with my wife. Is that an option, or is it really just just for women?
So if you wanted to participate in like a mental health support session with your wife, absolutely. Yeah, you could do that.
Cool.
We wouldn't turn you
That's
away.
hey, that's curious. I'm no judgment here. I get it. If the focus is women, that's good. We all, of course, should
Yeah.
have focuses in our business. That the more you can tailor to a smaller segment of the market, the more you're a better fit, which means they're going to really be getting the types of things they're looking for, which means they're probably going to work with you guys for a long time. So yeah, awesome that you focus on women. I think that's a great place to focus. So what about what would you say makes your business unique, or why do your clients or why do your customers, however you refer to them, why do they pick you guys?
Yeah. So what kind of sets us apart is our framework that we use. So we do use a trauma-informed care model, but we also have that with equity-centered strength focus, as well as social emotional learning. So it's not just about like the trauma-informed care piece. We're also really interested in like what are the strengths that you bring into the session or into the services, and what can we do to help you strengthen that and to focus more on that. And I think too often a lot of wellness providers are more of a what don't you have? What isn't going well, and not what can you do more of that is going well. So that sets us apart. And then two, like our experience with the target demographic, as I said, we are members of the same population that we're serving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I know when we work with businesses, we are typically reminding them of the same thing. A lot of times people are more focused on the issues, the challenges, the things that are not going well. It's like, hey, well, what is going well? Because
Yeah.
chances are, if it's going well, you might want to try to do more of it, right? And so
Yes.
both
Absolutely.
ways obviously can help improve the situation, which is obviously sounds
Mhm.
like what you guys are looking at with the individuals, which I think is another half of the story that may not always get its due attention. So good stuff. Yeah. Um, if so, those are the reasons why people choose to work with you guys, which I think is great. How do you, so from a marketing perspective, what would you say has been the top marketing strategy? What has brought you the most business so far for
Yeah.
your time in business?
Um, in some ways, it has been word of mouth. So, what I found, especially in the veteran community, is that if you provide a service that truly meets the need of like the population that you're serving, they're going to talk about it, they're going to share it, and that's true for like other populations as well. But as I mentioned, women veterans are a focus for us, and so we've been able to get more clients in because people are spreading the word about us. We also exist on like social media platforms, and we're sharing our message that way. But the other piece for us has been referrals, so referrals from organizations as well.
So a lot of word of mouth as well as referrals from other organizations that have
Absolutely.
similar customers. And
Hmm.
good stuff. As you look back on your journey so far, what do you think has been the most memorable or the hardest challenge that you've had, and how did you overcome it?
So it's two kind of responses here for me. The first of which is the most memorable. So the most memorable would be achieving our 501c3 status. We were in this long queue with the federal government about getting that status, but we were offered a property donation. But in order for us to receive it, we had to get the 501c3 status. And so those happened like right at the same time. Like, of course, the property donation drove the IRS into moving our application forward a little bit. They expedited it for us. But that was just such a great feeling between myself and the other co-founder. And it was just really memorable. And I would say the most challenging has been pacing. And what I'm referring to is how much to roll out and like how fast in terms of like our services. And so we've been really intentional about how we're rolling out our programs because we know that we do want to continue to scale, but we have to scale and maintain the quality of what it is that we're providing. And so the challenge has been met in just strategic growth planning. So essentially mapping out exactly where we want to be at the end of this year, and then working on like the next 2 years in that plan and just kind of sticking to those with, of course, like amendments and changes based on like what's happening around us and in the environment.
Yeah, okay, so that's pretty cool. Someone wanted to donate a piece of plot of land. Yeah, I'm sure that's a good reason to hop into making sure the 503C to accept that one. And
Yes.
so were you saying that so you were saying that the government was giving you a hard time more or less approving it, but because you got the land,
I wasn't saying that they were giving us a hard time. I was saying
okay.
that there's a backlog. There is a
Oh, okay.
huge backlog when it comes to processing applications for
Okay.
501c3s.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so that's it. And we had maybe another because they usually give you around like 6 months of how long it'll sit there, like within the system
So it takes
before they
6 months
even
to get
start.
approved?
It depends on what level. If you're not doing like because there are different applications that you have to complete depending on what you're expecting in terms of revenue coming in to your nonprofit. And so for ours it was 6 months for that. And so we still had another month to go, and with the property donation we couldn't receive it until we had the 501c3 status, and so
Yeah,
they did expedite it for us. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, no, that's good. And so to combat the making sure you're just adding services but keeping quality, you're
Yes.
making sure you're pretty strategically planning out, hey, well in 12 months we want to do ABC and then in the
Yes.
next couple of years we want to do XYZ. Yeah, so that's
Mm-hmm.
nice. I like it. Sounds like some good organized growth, if you ask me. And so what about if you were to think about your time employing people? Um, and having team is usually needed to make sure we're satisfying customer needs and interests, and all of us only have certain amount of skills. So when you think back as being an employer in business, what would you say has been your biggest learning employing people?
Um, I would say my biggest learning has been establishing cross training for the team. So as a veteran, and again, like Army specific, I know what cross training looks like in the military. It is not the same. It is not the same approach when it comes to the team, just because we're talking about civilians and how things are structured there. Um, and so learning more about the best way to cross train my team, because we are a small team. It's a team of 6 of us total.
That's
And because we're so small, we have to wear multiple hats as a part of the process because, again, like we are a newer organization, year two for us. And so being able to teach them, educate them, train them in like different areas outside of the skill set that they brought in has been just a learning piece. Yeah, the biggest learning piece.
well and important, like you said, small team. You're inevitably going to have to do a few things,
Mm-hmm.
and so being able to shift, weave, bob
Yeah.
obviously gets you guys more output for
Mhm.
the input of the team that you got. So, what would you do different if you started over today, knowing what you're learning, what you've learned thus far in your journey? What would you do different if you started over the whole thing today?
What I would do differently is to spend more time at the onset focused on fundraising so that there was a like more of a cushion there, like a financial cushion there prior to opening up and like starting the services. We did do some like fundraising, and of course, we had the property donation, which has been really helpful because it's a rental property, actually, not just land.
Okay, cool.
And so that has been very helpful to like our operations. But we and this isn't wrong. I don't think. I just think we should have added more of the fundraising as a part of it. But what we spent the time on was like building the operational foundation. So making sure that we had like our legal team, our IT team, that we had our SOPs, that we had like the client journey mapped out, like all these other things kind of mapped out, which equally important. But we would have done a little bit more of the fundraising.
Yeah, build up more financial base, so
Hmm.
maybe you have more options, or maybe it's just not as maybe not as much financial pressure or as much stress, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the changes that have been happening with like some of the grants that we were anticipating on receiving. Yeah.
All right, and are you where you expected to be at this stage? Uh, is this where you thought you'd be? You thought you'd be further along? You thought you wouldn't be as far along? What do you think?
No, I am very pleased with where we are right now as an organization. Like I mentioned, like there's a small team, but it's a really great team. Everyone is invested because they resonate like with the mission. It fits like their own narrative, like their own experiences of trying to access wellness. And when you have a team that believes like in the vision, that makes the world of difference. And the clients that we're seeing and that we're continuing to see, they are they are impacted by the work. And so, of course, like metrics, impact, like outcomes, all of that is definitely important for nonprofits, but even more so for our vision because we're talking about wellness and improving someone's well-being. And so, hearing from them that they're actually getting that, like from our services and our programs, yeah, I am very happy with where we are.
And that's good. We always talk about mind and body when it comes to the 16 cylinders of the power of the business. And usually people, so we equate mind and body to management and leadership.
Hmm.
And the mind and body is more the management piece that has, what do we say, six cylinders of power, and the leadership, which is more about heart and spirit, has the 10 cylinders. So just generally
Hmm.
speaking, that heart and spirit piece, if people, like you said, people are aligned with where you're going, the mission, and
Yeah.
they believe in that stuff, you're gonna get, you got more power,
Yes.
there's more energy there, and you're gonna get more
Yes.
out of the team, which of course will translate into more to the team, the customers, and
Hmm.
just more overall, right? So
Hmm.
so like I agree completely with what you're saying. It's good stuff you guys are that you got with the team. So
Hmm.
so what's next? What's the next goal or milestone for you?
So we just wrapped up our inaugural community event. It was a women's wellness summit that we did at the end of May. We are gearing up for another wellness event that will take place at the end of October. And so a lot of focus is on that, and then just continuing to like build our programs.
Yeah. All right. So is that a pretty typical like 6 month-ish time frame you guys do the events, or is that like just a newer, you're starting
Um,
to get?
No, so well, this is the first year that we're actually doing any events because
Oh,
again,
okay,
like
cool.
last year was really about building the foundation. And so with the events where we were going to do 4 for the year, and essentially like one a quarter,
Yeah.
but it's mapping out this year to be just 3. And so, yes, we have 2 more events, but the next one is coming up in October.
Sounds good. And so, I guess final question. Well, final question before the final question. How can others learn more about your company? How can they get in contact if they want to?
Absolutely. So you can learn more about our company through our social media at Arabella Wellness Center. That's the handles for Facebook, for LinkedIn, as well as for Instagram. And then also our website, which is just arabellawellness.org. And people can find me, connect with me on LinkedIn, send emails, send messages. Again, I really am about connecting us in the community with many more organizations and individuals, because I think wellness in community is more impactful. And so I want to make sure that people have like that accountability and that support system kind of built in, so that community network is extremely invaluable. But like I said, website, LinkedIn, email, all those great things.
That's all right. Good options. And then any special offers that you'd like to offer any listeners?
Absolutely. So, for any woman that is interested in accessing our online services, there is a 10% discount code that will be made available to you so that you can check us out, see how you like the services that we offer. I guarantee that you will love them. And so, welcome anyone to access the services that way using the coupon code.
Well, Dr. Natesha, we really appreciate you being on, and thanks so much for sharing a lot of the details about, of course, you and the company, and some of the things that are helping you guys succeed. So hopefully, our other viewers can join in on the learning and get some good things added to their business. And so appreciate you. And until next time, we'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Thank you.